a four-time world champion in four different weight classes. But who did he beat? Like Adrian Broner has probably the softest opponents that he beat. A guy that has four different weight is a champion in four different weight classes because he didn't really beat a whole lot of opponents, in my opinion, in those weight classes. I mean, he has some. I'm gonna point out that he has some so-so wins, some decent wins, but he don't have any win that stands out. He don't have an opponent that you can say, oh man, Adrian Broner beat Sugar Ray Leonard. Oh man, Adrian Broner, he beat a Sean Porter. Or he beat a Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Or Earl Spence. I don't see anybody on his resume that even comes close to anybody of significance. Yes, he was a super featherweight champion, lightweight champion, and light welterweight champion. That's 140. And the welterweight champion, at 147, we all know he went up, two weight classes and he beat Paulie Malignaggi. To me, was one of the beginnings of the end. Was really one of the telltale signs that he was not going to be what people thought he was going to be, because he struggled in that Paulie Malignaggi fight. I know everybody got to admit that Broner. See, a lot of people want to say, well, he moved up two weight classes, but yeah, Paulie Malignaggi is a career lightweight himself. He was a small welterweight, and he fought. You know what I'm saying? I believe, yeah, at the time, it was other guys that had the title. He wasn't gonna fight Mayweather, but it was other guys. Pacquiao was the WBO champion, I believe, at the time. He went up and he fought, to me, the weakest welterweight in Paulie Malignaggi, because he wanted to have a, that was supposed to have been his Arturo Gatti moment. When Mayweather had Arturo Gatti on, it was pay per view and he destroyed Arturo Gatti. That was supposed to have been Adrian Broner's Arturo Gatti, because they was building him up to be the next Mayweather. And when that didn't happen, he had to fight another viable opponent for people to get the Parmanaji fight out their mind. But let's go through his resume. When everybody first started, they fight guys that you never heard of, like David Warren Huffman. I don't know who that is. Roman Flores. I don't know who that is. Scott Fernie. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who the hell that is. The first decent guy that he fought within his first 15 fights was a guy. Yeah, his resume is not good at all, but we're going to go through it. He fought. Look, okay, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first 10 opponents in his resume he fought was somebody by the name of William Kickett. He was 15-1. Let's go. I'm gonna punch on Williams' name and see who did he beat or what's his record. Oh, okay, he's 18-2. He has 5 KOs, but trying to see anybody that he beat of note. And no, he beat nobody of note that I can see. So within the first 10 fights, the guy that he beat did not beat anybody of note that I can see. But the guy was 15-1 at the time that Broner fought him, and Broner KO'd him. When I first started seeing Broner, I seen him against when I first seen him, I seen him against Jason Litzau. And Jason Litzau was a decent fighter. I mean, Jason Litzau, he don't have no incredible wins on his record. But Jason Litzau was a decent fighter. Ponce de Leon was a decent fighter. He struggled in that fight. That fight was real close. It could have went either way. I gave it to him because he was a little bit more down the stretch. He was a little bit more busier down the stretch. But that was a tight fight. Then he did knock out Litzau in the first round, which was impressive that he knocked him out in the first round. Jason Litzau can handle himself a little bit. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we can all say he was a weight bully. He was fighting guys he was bigger than the guys. But if you make him weight, I guess you can get away with it. I mean, I don't. To me, I believe we need to go to the same day weigh-ins, because if we go back to the same day weigh-ins and the fight is that night, guys can't put on a whole lot of weight. Then you will see guys fight in their rightful weight division. You will see guys fight in a rightful weight division, but And then we wouldn't have this, this concept of weight bully, because guys like Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, I believe those guys are big welterweights. They probably could fight at 154 easy. They said Laura was heavy than her. No, I don't think Laura was heavier than her. Her was big, man. Her looked like he could fight at 168. But let me finish going through this resume. Elo Perez, I remember he beat him. I don't know who the hell Elo is. Vincent Estrado, I think that's the guy that he came in overweight, and that's the first sign I thought, like, okay, this is not gonna be good. Guys that young missing weight, you shouldn't be missing weight that young. I see if you're an older guy, you're trying to squeeze into the same weight class you've been squeezing in for the last 10 years, and you can't make the weight. But Broner, he was like at that time he was like 23 years old. 23 years old, you shouldn't be not making the weight. You should have known beforehand if he needed to move. At that point, he probably needed to move up. They were trying to squeeze him into another fight or two. Antonio DeMarco was a good fight. He destroyed Antonio DeMarco. That was a decent opponent. Gavin Reese, I don't even know who the hell Gavin Reese was. And this is when he fought Paul Malignaggi. This is when he went two weight classes above and fought Paul Malignaggi. He struggled in that fight. I gave him the fight because down the stretch, he landed the clean, more effective punches, and he was a little bit more busy than Paulie. Paulie went a little bit too defensive. And then we got the Maidana fight. Now, this is the fight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Paulie Malignaggi fight to me could have went either way. It could have been a draw. The Marcos Maidana fight. This is when he got his ass handed to him. He was belittling Marco Maidana all through the press conferences. You know what I'm saying? Maidana wasn't paying no more attention. See, one thing that Broner didn't realize is, yes, Maidana, he can speak English, but he's not from this culture. So with all that stupid stuff you were saying, it doesn't bother him because he's not American. He's not from this culture, and mentally, you was not gonna get to his head. You know what I'm saying? And Maidana had fought, what I'm saying, guys like Victor Ortiz and guys of that ilk. He had fought guys that, to me, he probably thought was better than you. You know what I'm saying? He had fought guys like that, and he was ready. He was prepared. He had got with Robert Garcia. I think this was his second fight with Robert Garcia, and he went in. He destroyed Broner, and Broner has not been the same since. Broner has not been the same since he took that butt whooping from Maidana. Yes, he did win a couple fights, but these was fights like when you are a guy at that level and you lose a fight, the next couple fights they give you build up fights. So yes, he was supposed to beat Carlos Molina. He was supposed to beat Emmanuel Taylor, which Emmanuel Taylor was a nice competitive fight. He was supposed to beat John Molina Jr. because they was building him back up. So you build him up for three fights, and guess who he fought after that? He fought Sean Porter. He was belittling Sean Porter, calling Sean Porter, a football player and all this stuff, laughing, giggling, talking about Sean Porter's father. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Talking about him instead of focusing on the fight. Got in, got out worked, got out punched. Yes, he did drop Sean Porter in the last round, but that's all he did. And now they had to build him up again. So he fought Khabib, whatever his name is. He fought him, won that fight. Then he fought Ashley Theophane, stopped him. Then he fought Andrew Granados, which was a good fight. That was a good fight. I could have said that fight he lost that fight. I can't pull for AB no more. I mean, I always thought when he missed weight on the weight scales, and this man like 22, 23 years old, he already showed me what his focus was. I can't. No, I can't beat. It's like Cavante Davis. Cavante Davis missed weight about the same age. He missed weight, lost his belt on the scales. I believe, did Broner lose his belt on the scales that day? He probably did. But Gavante Davis lost his belt on the scales. That's the first sign of no discipline. And I told people from that, I was in on Gavante Davis. I liked the Gavante Davis. I was like, When he missed the weight on the weight scales and lost his belt on the scales, I said I'm out. I'm out on Gervonta Davis. He showed me that he don't have any. See, anything you do, it's more mental than physical. And if your mental is not there, if your mental is not on point, physically, I don't care what kind of physical gifts you got. And and then after he beat Ashley Theophane, and now this is the second time they building him up. They repairing him again. He beat Ashley Theophane, and then he had a good fight versus Adrian Granados, who just fought Sean Porter. Now and then they put him in there with Mikey Garcia. Guess what? Same thing. He got outworked. He got out punched. People kept on saying, "Man, if he would have did this, he would have did that." So now he going in with Jesse Vargas. Now it's no build up. See, Al Heyman is sick and tired of building him up. He had two chances to get build up. Every time he got build up, he fought a good opponent. He lost. So now he's fighting Jesse Vargas. I got Jesse Vargas in that fight. He fighting Jesse Vargas at the catch weight of 144. I think he tried to catch Jesse Vargas slipping, saying, "Okay, if I bring him down," because he brought Adrien Broner down too. He brought Adrien Broner down too, and he lost to Adrien Broner. Now he's bringing Jesse Vargas down. Jesse Vargas is gonna possibly stop Broner. He could possibly stop Broner because he got a long jab. Jesse Vargas is 5'10". I believe Jesse Vargas is 5'10". Jesse Vargas got a nice jab, nice long jab, right hand. He got a hook. He got an uppercut. Jesse Vargas can fight. Jesse Vargas is well schooled in boxing. Yeah, Jesse Vargas is a 140 pounder, but I think Jesse Vargas has built his body up to be a 147 pounder now. I think Jesse Vargas has probably grown more into the weight than Broner has. Because I still think Broner is a career 140 pounder. He's just undisciplined. I can't trust no fighter that's undisciplined. So let's go through all the fighters that he fought of note. He fought Palma Nanji. That's the only name that he beat was Palma Nanji. He lost to Marcus Maidana. He lost to Sean Porter. He lost to Mikey Garcia. He lost all his big fights. Now some people will say, well, I had a discussion with my guy Boston. He would say, well, you got to count the fights that he won the titles in as big fights. Okay, they big fights, but what are names at? He don't have any name. He don't have any names, and he don't have any guys on here that you would say, okay, that guy is all right. I mean, Emmanuel Taylor is all right. Okay, he does have a couple on here you can say all right. Like I gave him Paul Manaji as a big name, but everybody else he lost to. He has a pattern of losing to all the big names. What that tell you? He cannot get over the hump. He cannot get over the hump. He cannot get to a certain level. Yes, he can win titles, but he won those titles against guys that, come on, man, Elo Perez and all these guys. Come on, man, who are these guys? You are judged by the guys who are established themselves as being either former champions or current champions. McDonough was a former world champion at, I believe, 140. Sean Porter, when he fought Sean Porter was a former 147 pounder. Mikey Garcia was a former three weight, you know, title. He had won three titles in three different weight classes at that point. And now Jesse Vargas is a former 147 pounder. He cannot beat these guys that are established. Now, I think Jesse Vargas is his last shot. After Jesse Vargas, if Broner loses fight versus Jesse Vargas, he's going to be a bona fide gatekeeper, meaning all the good prospects is coming up. People are going to put their fighter in the ring with Adrien Broner as they climb up the ladder to see if they're good enough to go to the next level. He's going to be a test dummy for those guys. That's what's on the line for Broner. I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, now he's taking it serious. Only if Broner would have did this. Broner got all the skills. Come on, man. If you ain't got it mentally, I don't care what kind of skills you claim to have. If you don't have it mentally, your skills will not take you anywhere." Broner had the world at his feet. To me, he had a good. He was self promoting. That's what I can say. One thing about Broner, he self promoted the heck out of himself. But what he should have did was after Paulie Malignaggi, he should have been calling out Floyd. Because how can you be a big brother to somebody that's fighting in your weight class? How can you call that guy your big brother and he's an active fighter fighting in the same weight class where you just got a belt in? Now I see as you can't, you was coming up saying you admire Floyd Mayweather. Okay, that's fine, but as you get to a certain level, he should have challenged Floyd Mayweather to the fight. The public would have demanded the fight. The public would have been behind Broner because Broner was peeling off some of Mayweather. He was peeling off a lot of Mayweather supporters. A lot of them was going to Broner. A lot of them was feeling Broner. If Broner would have called out Mayweather, man, they'd have been like, man, I want to see that fight. Because I kept on saying, man, he should call out Mayweather. He should call it win, lose, or draw. If he call out Mayweather, he go in there and have a great showing. Guess what? His stock does nothing but go up. His stock goes nothing but go up. So, like I said, I got Jesse Vargas possibly stopping the man in the later rounds, and people gonna come out and say, well, if Broner would have let his hands go, if Broner would have did this, if Broner would have did that, they woulda, coulda, shoulda. Is his career was in his hands, and he just let it go. Now, hopefully, he's with Cunningham. That's Devin Alexander coach. Now that guy's a no nonsense guy. Hopefully, he can get him right. But I think it's a little bit too late. I think it's a little too late for Broner. I think he should have been with a trainer that took no nonsense for him in the beginning. Because the Mike Stafford that was with him ever since he was a kid, and it seemed like Broner just ran that show. You cannot run the show. The trainer has to run the show. You can't let the fighter run the show because you have to. It's your job to keep the fighter motivated. I mean, well, not really. Well, the fighter has to be self motivated, but it is a trainer's job to say, well, if you're gonna come in here, you're gonna train the right way, or I'm not gonna deal with none of your BS. Because I seen an interview with Charlo. He said the reason why he left Ronnie Shields because Ronnie Shields has a certain time to where you got to come to the gym, and if you're late, he's not gonna. You can't train that day. And he said one day he got up out of bed late. He showed up to the gym an hour late, and Ronnie Shields said you can't train today, and he said he was gone. He was out of there. But see, that's a good trainer because he's not gonna take your BS. He wants you to take it just as serious as he's gonna take it. He don't want you coming in there wasting his time because he has other fighters that he has to train. So yes, he has to put you on a time restriction, and you have to be disciplined enough to come in there at that time. But I'm out. Let me know who y'all got, Vargas or Broner.